YouTube's coming up right now. So YouTube didn't go live on its own. So we'll do an intro for YouTube here in just a second, as soon as they're live. But this is the Yankey Show. So come on in, like and share. And if you can, support the show. This is an independent little show that I put on myself. I do all these shows on my own. I have a lot of people helping me. I'm not alone in it anymore, for sure. I'm part of some really cool groups. I got some good friends helping me out. A lot of them are here at the feed right now, which I could acknowledge them. Most of my biggest supporters are actually here, which I'm amazed to see. It works so much better coming from my timeline. When you come from a Facebook page, those of you who are content creators out there, if you're coming from a Facebook page, you are more easily suppressed. Hi, Dot Connector. Sorry, the feed was supposed to go automatically live at 12, but it didn't automatically go live. I had to manually make it live. But now everybody's in. We're live on Periscope, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. So everybody's in now. And I have the comments up on the screen. So go ahead and talk about anything you want during the show. We can get into anything you'd like. I'm going to say hi to some people really quick. Just look through, see who's here. Hi, Dolores. Hi, Ginger. Hey, Helen. Good to see you. Hey, Jennifer. Jennifer's my cousin. Brian. Good to see you guys. Hey, Steve. Good to see you could make it. Good crowd today. This is a really good turnout. First thing I want to get into is Elizabeth Warren has been caught lying again. Elizabeth Warren is a fraud. Elizabeth Warren is a complete fraud. Now, whether it's with her trying to convince you that she's of Native American descent, or trying to convince you she's a liberal or a progressive, because she's neither of which. She was proven to be what, 164th Cherokee, and I believe that she's probably 164th progressive. She was a Republican most of her life. You know, wasn't it till age 40 that she was a Republican? A staunch Republican, a capitalist, believes firmly in the capitalist system, in the capitalist way. So she is not a friend of the progressive movement and will not fight for any of these issues that are important to us and that we're fighting for moving forward. So Elizabeth Warren's a total fraud, but it's come out that she lied to advance her career again. She lied that she was denied a job or fired from a job because she was visibly pregnant. Now, I don't know all the details because the mainstream media is hot garbage, and I don't look at more of it than I have to. I look at it as little as I can. I've been getting info from this from other places, and basically it's the same thing again. She's lying, and she's going to get tore up. She's not your front runner, just like Joe Biden wasn't the front runner. The illusion that the media casts would have you believing some crazy things if you allow yourself to believe it. But Elizabeth Warren is a fraud. And that's not just me saying that. And, you know, because this isn't a politics show, but I'm a Bernie bro. That's not me saying it as a Bernie bro. My cat just decided to mess with the feed. Let me check and make sure. Do you see the camera jump? My cat is pissed because she is out of food. My wife is going to the store right now. That's where my wife is. She's heading to the store right now to get cat food. But my cat is so mad at me right now. Now, understandably, but the dog eats her food. You know, it's not that I don't buy cat food for the cat. The dog eats her food. So we're going to get a tower now and put the cat food up on the tower because my dog is a little half dachshund, half lab, and she can't get up there. So we're going to put the cat's food up high. It's because the cat's always running out of food because the dog eats it all. Dogs love cat food. I read in a veterinary journal that it's like junk food for a dog. You know, it doesn't have as much of the stuff that dogs need or something like that. It's not any good for dogs. It's like a dog eating chips, basically. But they love it. They love cat food. But we were talking about Elizabeth Warren being a fraud. Elizabeth Warren is a total fraud. And she is not the front runner. The media is going to lie, and they're going to sell her as the front runner. They're going to try to convince you, because that's what they're doing, is they're trying to convince progressives that Elizabeth Warren is our ally. But we know better. We know better based on her track record, based on what she's shown us, and based on what she continues to do and has done. You know, no matter what she's saying, you can always tell about a person by going by their actions, what they actually do. You know, that's what I feel. I feel that you look at what someone does, not what they say. You can say anything. People can lie and tell you anything they want, but you look at their actions, look at their history. And when you look into Elizabeth Warren, what you find is a liar, and she's a liar. and multiple times she's told very big lies. You know, the Native American ancestry lies she used for political gain, she used for career gain, she used for educational gain. She got a lot from that. She benefited. You got to see this dog. Oh, she's awesome. It looks like a mini lab. She's half dachshund, half black lab, and the black lab is the mother. So the dachshund was the father, and it looks like a miniature black lab. It's awesome. I'll take some pictures later on today and share them on my Facebook feed. But Lori says, what? Dogs love cat poop. Oh, you got to watch that too. Dogs will eat that out of the litter box. Dogs are scavengers. Dogs are in nature. Dogs would eat anything. They can, their stomach can handle a lot of things. That's why cat food and dog food is different. There's differences in their stomachs and differences in their biology, but dogs are scavengers, and dogs will eat anything. Dogs eat filthy stuff. But I still love them. I still love dogs more than most people. You know, as far as life on planet Earth, it would probably be dogs, then cats, then maybe birds, getting something crazy. And most of the time that involves things of sexual nature. But YouTube says it's buffering. I hope we're doing okay. Someone, if Dot Connector, if you're still here, let me know if you guys are buffering. He says buffering. I will fix that in settings. It's telling me that that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. And I had to drop my bit rate and certain settings for Periscope. So what I'm going to have to do is play with settings and get it right. So we will, moving forward, we will get it all down. Ginger says, no clue who Andy Dick is. Have you ever seen the show News Radio? News Radio was a very popular show, very big show. Phil Hartman was on it. Andy Dick was on that show. Other than that, he's only famous for being crazy and being a drug addict. He's rich off of movies and Hollywood, mostly small roles, but he made a good living, and now his fame is basically just partying and going to clubs. You know, a famous Hollywood thing is if you want your club shut down, invite Andy Dick. And they'll be shutting the doors. But yeah, I'm sorry about the buffering, and the error is not going away. So I guess it's going to be a problem that's going to go on throughout this stream. After the stream, though, I will lock down those technical things. And then a lot of things are going to be easier once I get the new computer. So the new computer is being built, and that's going to solve a lot of issues too, because some of the stream settings that I have to use are because of my technical limitations. But Phil says, my brother had an interesting one earlier today on Facebook. A friend of his from Florida, I guess it's a Facebook friend, contacted him and said it's over for Bernie because he had a heart attack. And hold on, there's more. And people will look at him like he's a diseased and he will die. So he is going off to vote for Elizabeth Warren of all people because she said she won't die. This thing that happened with Bernie, this isn't the Bernie show, but we'll talk about it just for a second. It's a common medical procedure. Lori is here, and Lori's a nurse. Lori can tell you this is not a big deal. He didn't have a heart attack. He had stents inserted into his arteries, and it's a common thing. Mick Jagger's had these done, and Mick Jagger still runs around on stage and prances and dances like a kid. Bernie's in great health, and he's doing great. I would imagine that he's probably healthier than Elizabeth Warren. You know, I am on Team Bernie, though. But today, I take politics off on Sundays. So today, we're not going to talk about politics at all, really, or your or particular politics. We may talk about politics. Politics is everything. Politics. Helen says now it's in sync. Okay, good. All right. And then Lori says now we're talking Dick's dick. But yeah, Andy Dick is in the Me Too movement now. And then Amber Guyger, this shooting of Botham Jean. I don't know how close you've been following that, but Botham Jean was a black man, and he was in his apartment. And this cop, off-duty cop, Amber Guyger, came home from work, says she went in the wrong apartment, thought she was going into her own apartment, and shot him dead. Killed him. She was found guilty of murder just recently. Unbelievably enough, because she was a cop. So a lot of people were like, no, there's no way we're going to get any justice here. But they found her guilty of murder. Thing is, though, they gave her a feather-like slap on the wrist. 10-year sentence. 10 years. Then, the story gets better. Then, coming up right on the tail of the trial just ended. This was days ago that the sentencing came down. The key witness for the prosecution has been gunned down in a parking lot, gangland style. And Amber Guyger's legal team is already talking about appealing her conviction. And now the state no longer has their key witness. At first I thought retribution, but now I see that they're doing this immediate appeal. I'm no lawyer, so I don't know what's admissible and what isn't. From what I read, his testimony was the linchpin. I'm going to go and cover it more. I'm going to do a video for YouTube on this because I think that there's a lot more here. So I'm going to dig deeper over the course of today. I'm working on the research for it. I can't go super deep right now, but when the video is up, check it out. And I'm going to try and find some stuff out because I also want to see if I can find evidence of a personal relationship previously between Amber and Botham. Because, you know, they lived 3 floors apart, the way I understand the story, and she mistakenly went in the wrong apartment and thought that her apartment was being robbed. So she says she gave commands like a cop would, pulled her weapon, gave commands, and the person was unresponsive, so she shot him. But the witness says that that isn't what happened. You know, he told a different story and said that there were no commands given and said that it was more of a confrontation between 2 people that were strangers, it sounded like, you know, and it was an argument. But it contradicted her story enough that she was able to be found guilty of murder. You know, nothing light like manslaughter, but still a light little 10-year sentence. And then the brother instantly gets up and forgives her, gives a speech, forgives her, and hugs her. The cop is fixing her hair during the sentencing. The judge gets up and hugs her. It was really weird. It was really, really weird. But I'm going to go digging around there and see what I can find. And then either later on today or early in the week, I'll have a new video on this Amber Guyger, Botham Jean thing. And we can get into that. Ginger says, I'm 45 with heart issues. She says also very common, the stents. Yes, they are. They're very common. And it's not even a big surgery. He was an outpatient type of thing. He's already back on the campaign trail. He's already campaigning again. He will be in the debates on the 15th. So Bernie's fine. He's doing great. There's nothing really to worry about there. And wherever you land, don't buy into this bullshit. The lie that Bernie had a heart attack. Because he didn't have a heart attack. He had stents put in. Helen says the judge gave her a Bible. The more I hear, the worse it gets. I'm telling you, this video is probably going to be half a rant video. I'm angry about this. You know, I really thought we were going to get a little bit of justice here. I know that was awful naive of me, but I really thought that there was enough evidence here and there was enough proof that we would get some justice here, that would actually happen. But no. Lori says, still, how do you not notice after the door was unlocked, especially? All right, well, you know, she says the door was ajar. His family, I don't know if they backed down on this, but at first they were saying that Botham would never have left his door unlocked. But she says the door was open. And I can see how that would make you think, oh shit, there's someone in my house. You know, if you come home and your door's open and you think you're at the wrong door, but you got to understand, and I think that we have to take into account that she is a cop. All right. She might have been at the end of a long day. I'm sure it was a very long and stressful shift, but she is a cop. She's an officer of the law. She has more responsibilities than the average person. She should have more accountability for her actions. You see what I'm saying? She should put more thought into what she's doing. So how does she go into the wrong apartment? I understand it happens to people. I understand it does. I've went to the wrong car. I've gotten in the wrong car. I've gotten all the way inside of it. It can happen, right? Mistakes happen. But this was too many coincidences. It was too much. She's 3 floors apart from him. She's that far away from where she meant to be. And then how did that happen? Every point when I think about what's going on with Amber, I'm always taking into account this is an officer of the law. And maybe I shouldn't, but I give them more credit to think things through. I feel like they should anyway. They at least should have been trained, but they're not. You know, you take more training in this country to be a barber than you do to be a police officer. It takes longer to learn how to be a barber. It's not like that in other countries. Other countries, they do more training and they teach their police about non-lethal methods and things like that. But our police, they're not really even police. But that's an issue for the conspiracy theory show. You got to watch me. I get sidetracked. I'm trying to stay on topic. This is Yankey Show. Keep them separate, Sean. But in a minute, we're going to talk about something that is a favorite subject of mine. We're going to go a little bit into Mandela effects, so stick around for that. But did you see that the Department of Defense has announced that aliens are real? UFOs. Sorry, I said aliens. Give it a little bit. Give it some time, and they'll announce that shit too. But they've announced that UFOs are real. They've announced they deal with them. They even released official Air Force video of them pursuing a fleet of UFOs. This happened. Dot Connector said cops are trained that they are in imminent danger at all times, also recruited at below 100 IQ. I had read that, but I didn't know if it was true about the IQ. And then the fact that they're trained to consider themselves in imminent danger at all times is absolutely true. Our cops are trained like attack dogs. You know, they say to serve and protect, but that's not really what they are. They're crowd control and enforcement for the powers that be, the corporations and those that have bought and own our country. But like I said, that's a topic for conspiracy theories and chill, or we can get into it here later on. I just want to make sure I got a long list of topics, and I want to make sure we get through at least the top ones. But yeah, the Department of Defense, an official, a chief official from the Department of Defense came out and announced that they deal with UFOs on a regular basis, that it happens. And in this particular video that was released, and it was released to CNN, major media sites, I watched it on CNN. You watch them chasing this UFO, talking about the movements it's making and all of that. It's very fascinating. But Helen says they look like Foo Fighters. You know, I never knew that was what the name of that band meant. That's what they call unidentified flying objects, Air Force guys. They would call them Foo Fighters. You know, they've been talking about seeing UFOs forever. Pilots and all that. You know, unidentified flying objects are real. You know, I don't believe they're aliens, but I believe they're hidden secret government technology. I believe that there's technology that exists that if you were to see it, you would think it was literally magic. I believe that they express that they're 50 years ahead of us technologists, but what's that for? You know, they weren't supposed to release that document. That document got out by mistake. Dot Connector says we're buffering again. And again, I apologize to YouTube. It seems like we're only having the problem on YouTube. Facebook's not doing it. Periscope might be doing it. It looked like it twitched there for a second, but it looks good. But I'll fix the settings. I will fix that because people on YouTube are actually the most particular about what they watch. And if it's buffering and stuff, I might as well not even be streaming to YouTube because it's got to be good quality over there. And Facebook people are more understanding. They know that there was a long period of time where I chugged around and crashed and buffered all the time. I've been learning as I go for 3 years how to do this. Ginger says Facebook is buffering a little. Okay, so that lets me know that that's something in my main streaming software or my streaming that's putting it out. So I will work on that and narrow it down and get that all fixed up. We just started multi-streaming. So, and I get the new computer probably next week. So everything's going to be a lot cooler moving forward. So subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook and stay with our content and our shows because I do 4 now. I do this one every Sunday, Yankey Show. I do the Daily Burn every day, Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. That one's for the political revolution. Then I do Conspiracy Theories and Chill. That's my baby. That was pretty much one of the first shows that we ever did. And that's a lot of where my background is in conspiracy. I love conspiracies. So we do that Wednesday nights. And then Yankee Rants. I don't have a time and day for Yankee Rants yet, but I've been flirting with bringing it back. I did a few of them, and they got really good responses, so I'm going to bring that one back too. And then I have OCD, so now I got to get to 5 shows. For whatever reason, it's got to be an odd number. It's got to be 3 or 5. I don't know. But OCD let me get into this real quick. And this has to do with ADHD as well. OCD is a hindrance, but it's also a superpower. I have superpowers. I obsess, and that's how I learn, and that's how I do things, and that's how I get good at things, because I obsess over them. So it's kind of a superpower. And ADHD is kind of a superpower too. Like, you can focus in like 7 different directions. You know, we drug these kids into numbness when really we just need to unlock their different levels of genius. Just because they don't thrive in our indoctrination system does not mean anything about that child. It doesn't mean anything about their capabilities or their limitations. We have an indoctrination system, not an education system. I think that should be pretty well known. That's not conspiracy. That's pretty well known. And we also rank pretty low worldwide education wise. But we want to teach kids how to pass tests and how to repeat and not to think and not to be creative. So a lot of kids get stifled because of that and get mislabeled because of that, because they're really being held back from their true potential. Sorry, got a little bit of a rant in there about ADHD, but every kid has ADHD. Every kid. Now, how can every kid have ADHD? Come on now. Just like everybody's now addicted to, or sorry, not addicted to. I might be addicted to it, but allergic to gluten? When did we start being allergic to bread? When did this happen? You know, what I read is that we're not actually allergic to the gluten, we're allergic to the chemicals sprayed on the wheat. And that makes a lot more sense to me. That makes a whole lot more sense to me. But I'm not a scientist. Maybe somebody can invite Dr. Ben from Ask Dr. Ben, get him in here, and maybe he can tell us what this gluten allergy explosion is about, you know, and or was it there all along? Were we allergic to bread all along? Because I've been rocking out on some bread, man. When I have spaghetti, I can kill off a whole loaf of French bread. I love bread. Bread is amazing. Have you ever been to Olive Garden? They have these endless free breadsticks. Oh my God, it's amazing. Don't eat their food, but go there and order a water and just get about 6 trays of them breadsticks with marinara sauce, and it's amazing. Lori says, stay with 3. My suggestion, don't overwork yourself. Have time for research, downtime, enjoying life. Just my suggestion. She is probably right. You know, I'm overeager. I am. And when I go after something, I go after it 100%. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to try too hard and burn myself out. But so that's why I might leave Yankey Show without a regular time, because sometimes I'm mad and just want to do a feed. Perfect for Yankee rants, right? So that could be a show that just drops whenever I'm upset, kind of like a venting opportunity. You know what I mean? I was kidding about the 5 thing, Lori. I'm not going to work myself to death. But one thing I am going to do moving forward is get more content creators for the web YouTube channel. Most of my stuff is going to hub out of YouTube. So YouTube is going to be the center of everything moving forward, unless I get banned for whatever reason, and then we'll move to maybe a DTube or something like that. But for now, I like the audience of YouTube. It has a lot of restrictions, and there's a lot of rules I need to learn, and I need to learn what I'm doing because I don't really know. But I'll try to follow their rules and try to stay on their platform. But the things I talk about aren't popular, and the reason why they're not is because I talk about the truth no matter what I'm talking about. I always talk about the truth. But I want to look at these real quick. I want to bring this up because these are really popular with my YouTube audience, but I love these. We're going to bring the film strip in, and I am going to show you these Mandelas. I saw this today scrolling through Facebook, and it's a list of 40 Mandelas. And what a Mandela effect is, it's when well, not you, but many people remember something other than the way it happened in this reality. So it gets its name from Nelson Mandela. A lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s, when in reality he lived till 2013. And that's where it gets its name from. But there's a lot of different ones, and I've covered them in many videos on my YouTube channel on Mandela effects. I've done like 4 or 5 of them, and I've covered a lot of these, but there were some in this list that blew me away. So I'm going to quickly go through the ones I covered, and then I'm going to talk to you about the ones that blew me away, because I'm like, what? How are there more that I don't know about? I've done 5 videos. I've covered, I don't know, probably 100 different Mandelas. How am I still finding new Mandelas? There was a Mandela somebody told me the other day to 9/11. I studied 9/11 since 9/11. Did you know, there's some people here that are truthers. Did you know that 125 people died in that wing of the Pentagon? I remember that wing of the Pentagon being mostly unoccupied and hardly any casualties inside that wing of the Pentagon because it was under construction, under renovation. That's the way I remember it. Casualties from the Pentagon came from the plane, not the building. But they're saying now the story is that 120 something people died at the Pentagon. Not from the plane, but in the Pentagon. That's a Mandela for me. That's different to me. That's a change in reality to me. Because I remember it being that there was hardly anyone, and they were actually praising that. They were happy because there was low casualties. But this is a big one. People think there was a peanut butter brand named Jiffy. There never was. It's always been Jif. And I've covered that one before. Looney Tunes is another big one. You know, people get thrown off on the spelling of tunes. You know, I thought it was Toons. I was positive, but it is Tunes, and it always has been. And it makes sense when you think about it because Looney Tunes has to do with music. That's where its origin comes from. And so that makes sense. But this one I've covered at least 3 times in different videos, so I won't spend much time here. But this one makes me mad because I loved the Berenstain Bears books when I was a kid, and it was the Berenstain Bears because I never knew how to say it. And, you know, it's one of those learning to read type books. When I was little and I was learning to read, my mom got me a book club, and they would send me Berenstain Bears books and others. But I loved the Berenstain Bears, and I never knew if it was Steen or Stein. I never could tell. But the Berenstain Bears, I know it wasn't Stain because I know how to say Stain. I never would have struggled with Stain. Curious George's tail, I've covered that before. A lot of people remember Curious George having a tail. Well, he's never had a tail. Sex in the City, that's a big one. It's Sex and the City. People remember it as Sex in the City, and there's a lot of merchandise you can find with it that way, but it's not. It never has been. Uh-oh. Febreze. Let me see if I can get to the one I wanted to show you. Oscar Mayer. This is one that bothered me. This is a new one for me. Skechers. Now, I remember Skechers being spelled like this. For every one of these I'm going to show you, the one on this side, the one on the left-hand side, or the left for me, I'm looking at my screen, is, well, you are too. Duh. Derp. I say stupid things sometimes. But this is the one that is real. This is the one, oh wait, I have it backwards. This is the one that people remember, and I remember it like this. This is what's real. Sorry, I had that backwards. So this is the real logo for Skechers. That's what I remember. I remember Skechers. Just like, let me see if it'll let me show you. Febreze, is it going to show it? No. It might if I leave it sit. My computer sucks so bad. But let me get to the ones I wanted to show you, just in case it doesn't let me. I've covered Fruit Loops before. I never covered this one. This picture of Henry VIII. A lot of people remember Henry VIII holding a turkey leg in this picture. It's a very famous picture. But, you know, some have him holding different food, but he's actually holding no food. And this is the right one. I was right the first time. Now I know, because Henry VIII is actually holding no food. I have covered that one. The Monopoly Man. He's never had a monocle. I remember him having a monocle. He's never had a monocle. Go ahead and look through your Monopoly set. Pikachu. This is one I've covered before. I'm going to go fast through the ones I've covered. But check the Mandela videos out on my channel. I go deeper into them, and it's more fun. They're fun videos. Pikachu has never had black tip on his tail. This don't even look right to me, and I don't even like Pokemon. This one bothers me, but I've covered it 2 or 3 times too. This one makes me mad. I remember Kit Kat having a dash in between Kit and Kat, but it never has. It's always been Kit Kat scrunched together. And these aren't logo changes. The Mandelas, it's not a change in the logo. This is a change in reality. It's never been that way. Now this one bugs me. I never covered it because I never really knew how to even explain what this was. This is a cornucopia. And I remember this being the way the logo looked for Fruit of the Loom. There was a cornucopia behind the fruit. There never was. There never was. There was never a cornucopia behind the fruit. I immediately went to Google after looking at this morning and pulled it up, and you can't find it. You can find, again, you can find representations, but not official, not from Fruit of the Loom. This one I don't get. I don't get all the Mandelas. I do experience a lot of them, but I'll tell you when I don't, and I don't get this one. People remember Cheez-Its being that way. They remember it being Cheez-Its, but it's Cheez-It. This one I do get. This one I do experience. Double stuff, Oreo double stuffs. I remember it being spelled with two F's, but it's not. It's spelled with one F. Mona Lisa's Smile, I've covered that one before. This one bothers me, but I've covered it. C-3PO Silver Leg. This one. This was one I wanted to talk to you about. I used to watch the Flintstones every day. Every day. I watched it into my adult years. I love the Flintstones. And it's the Flintstones. It's this over here. Flintstones. No, it's the Flintstones. Flintstones. They say it always has been. The Flintstones has always had two T's. We've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time. That one blew me away. This is the one I've never covered because I don't know much about colors, and I don't really experience this one, but a lot of people do. The color chartreuse. People remember it being a different color. They remember it being this green color. It was really popular back in the 70s, wasn't it, or the 60s? Like all appliances and rugs and carpets and stuff were that color, but it's actually this color. This is chartreuse. Life is like a box of chocolates. I've covered that one before. Mirror, mirror on the wall. I've covered that. That's not in Snow White. She never says mirror, mirror on the wall. She says magic mirror. Magic mirror. Luke, I am your father. This one makes me mad. He never says that. He never says that. He says, no, I am your father. It's crazy. It's one of the most misquoted movie lines in history. This one, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan, so I don't experience this one. Maybe you do. But he never says, run you fools. That's never said by Gandalf. And that's apparently a heavily misquoted line. This one I have covered. Hannibal Lecter never says hello Clarice in Silence of the Lambs. He says good morning to her. That's not the way I remember it. I remember him saying hello Clarice. Really creepy. But let's go to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and finish the list. We've already went through 27. I wasn't going to put you through all these, but I have fun with these. And there's one more I want to show you. This one I've covered before, but We Are the Champions of the World. Freddie Mercury in the official radio version, not the live version, he doesn't sing of the world. It's We Are the Champions. Now, in the live version, he did eventually add that, but a lot of people remember the radio version having of the world in it. It doesn't. This one's about Mr. Rogers' theme song. I've read this one before, but I've never covered it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, especially in the upcoming Tom Hanks film, but even the movie makers got it wrong. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A small but mighty blow to our memories. Number of U.S. states. This one I do experience. Tell me if you experienced this one. I remembered there being 52 states. There's not. It's 50. I thought that when we absorbed Alaska and Hawaii that we went up to 52, but we were apparently at 48 before that. So Sinbad never playing a genie. That's a famous Mandela. There's never been a genie movie where Sinbad played a genie. Even though I remember there being a genie movie where Sinbad played a genie. This one's interesting. I've covered it before. Smokey Bear. It's not Smokey the Bear. We've been adding that the. It's Smokey Bear. It always has. Tank Man. I remember him being run over by the tanks. But he didn't. He climbed on top of them. I could show you the video. Neil Armstrong's death. People didn't realize that Neil Armstrong died in 2012. So that was news to a lot of people when they found out he was died or had died. They all thought he was still alive, including myself. I didn't realize that he had died in 2012. When I found out, I was kind of shocked. But I don't follow Neil Armstrong. I'm not a huge Neil Armstrong fan. Another celebrity death that people get wrong is Billy Graham's death. People can't place when Billy Graham's funeral aired on TV. That's probably because it didn't happen that long ago. He died in February of 18. Mother Teresa's canonization. People have strong opinions about when she was made a saint. The event really happened in 2016, but many remember her entering sainthood in the 1990s while she was still alive. Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. There are people that think it happened in a different year. I don't know. I remember watching it at school. It was one of those instances where they wheeled the TV into the classroom and you watched the video together. And I remember that, watching it explode at school. This one I've covered before, the Lindbergh baby. How do you remember this? When the Lindbergh baby, Charles Lindbergh's infant son, was kidnapped, do you remember him being returned? Many remember the case going cold, but they sadly found, not being returned, but being found. They sadly found the body and sentenced the killer to death for the heinous crime. I remember them never finding the Lindbergh baby. I remember them even doing a joke on Family Guy where they flush a baby down the toilet and say that they'll explain it away. Patrick Swayze's health. I didn't experience this one either, but people remember him recovering from pancreatic cancer. Leonardo DiCaprio's first Oscar. I don't experience this one either, but people remember Leonardo DiCaprio winning an Oscar earlier on in his career. He's been nominated many other times, but he's only won once. The location of Disney World. This one kind of blew me away. So I remember it being the entrance to the park. But I was little, so I don't even know. I don't even remember going. I really have to go again to even know. But I remembered it being the focus, and in all the publicity stuff, it's always featured. It just makes sense, but no, it's not in the entrance to the park. Steve says Mother Teresa was a cunt. My goodness, Steve, mouth on you. Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Probably going to get banned now because of that. Plus, you caught me. I was hiding behind there and I was smoking. I thought I'd exhaled before. I'm trying not to smoke on live streams. But that was Mandelas I wanted to show you guys and play with that. Now I want to play a game. I've got a game. We've got some people here on Facebook. Let me see what we've got going on YouTube because I haven't been able to see you in a minute because I've been looking at Mandelas. But let's see what's going on YouTube. Dot Connector says Stein. Absolutely Stein. And I remember him with a tail too. But yeah, I'm just now catching up with the YouTube comments. Sorry about that, guys. We are going to play a game. Do we have anybody here on YouTube? Looks like we have a couple here on YouTube and Facebook. So the game is, I picked out 3 stories. I pulled 3 stories from the news today. One of them is from The Onion. Okay? I'm going to read you the headline and a brief summary of each story like I'm a newscaster or something. And you're going to tell me which one you think is from The Onion. Then later on, I'll tell you which one was from The Onion. I'll give you the answer, but we'll have fun with it for a minute. So I'm going to read the 3 stories. Let me pull them up. So this is it The Onion? That's what the name of this game is going to be called. We'll probably play it again some other time. But here we go. 3 stories. The first story. Thieves stole a $5 million gold toilet from Britain's Blenheim Palace. Burglars stole a fully functional 18-karat gold toilet from a palace in Britain where it had been installed as an art exhibit. And the toilet is valued at more than $5 million. And that was our first story. The second story for today's Is This the Onion? Guinea pig ice cream. Ice cream made from the milk of guinea pigs is becoming a cool new treat in Ecuador. Now, the operation is a small one. It consists of 2 tables in an open area lined with dentist clinics and other businesses. But even so, the demand for guinea pig ice cream is growing. Every week, the entrepreneur prepares 150 servings that they sell for $1 a cone of guinea pig ice cream. That was our second story. So will it be A, B, or C, Lori? It's going to be 1, 2, or 3. So that was our second story, guinea pig ice cream. Now for our third story, Is it The Onion? Is this story from The Onion? The producers of the hit show Seinfeld have revealed that they originally planned to kill off Jerry in the pilot episode. Jerry's character on Seinfeld was actually supposed to be a minor character that the audience barely knew. And the death of this minor character, 10 minutes into the first episode, was supposed to be the inciting incident that brings together this quirky little group of friends who all meet up at his funeral. So that was our third story. So we have Seinfeld was supposed to die in the pilot episode of Seinfeld. That's story 3. Guinea pig ice cream, story 2. And the $5 million gold toilet, story 1. So let's see. What do you guys think in the comments? There's a little bit of delay, so I'm going to fill time while we wait. But I want to know in the comments, what do you think was The Onion? Which story was from The Onion? I think this game will be fun moving forward because the media is a minefield, and you never know what you're going to find when you go out looking through the media. And I find a lot of crazy stuff. And sometimes you'll see an Onion headline that looks like real news. It's getting to be so weird anymore that the Onion sometimes passes and gets shared as real news. Lori says 3. Anybody else got a guess? Anybody else want to guess? Which story was The Onion? 1, 2, or 3? So I'll wait a second and give time. Alex says 3. So Lori and Alex agree that 3, Seinfeld was the fake story. You think Seinfeld's from The Onion? Now don't cheat. If you have an Onion subscription, don't cheat on me. But so far we've had a couple answers. Ginger said already forgot the stories and the numbers. The first story was that a $5 million gold toilet was stolen in Britain from a palace. 18-karat gold toilet stolen. And the second story was that guinea pig ice cream made from the milk of guinea pigs is becoming popular, is becoming a delicacy, and is gaining ground in Ecuador. And they sell 150 of these cones a week or a day. I don't remember what I read, but it's probably a week because the guinea pig, I don't imagine you get much milk out of a guinea pig, but they sell them at $1 a cone, and it's a little bitty cone. I saw it. So it's a delicacy. Dot Connector thinks number 2, the guinea pig milk, the guinea pig ice cream is the fake story. The third story is Seinfeld. On Seinfeld, they originally planned to kill Jerry off in the pilot. Jerry was not supposed to be the main character of Seinfeld. That's the third story. So, guinea pig was 2, Ginger. Oh, Lori's telling her what the ones were. So far we have 2 that think that was number 3. Ginger thinks number 1, the $5 million gold toilet, is the fake story. And Dot Connector thinks number 2, the guinea pig ice cream, is the fake story. The Onion was Seinfeld. That's the fake story. There is guinea pig ice cream. There is. It's real. Look it up. They are making ice cream from the milk of guinea pigs and selling it in Ecuador, and it's also popular in the Philippines. I never heard of it. I didn't even know you could milk a guinea pig. Apparently you can, and apparently it's delicious. The people that I read little quotes from people, because they did a piece on it from Huffington Post, is where I found that one. And there's a 78-year-old lady talking about how she was very surprised how good it was. But it is real. Guinea pig milk and guinea pig ice cream is real. And Alex and Lori were our winners. Anybody else guess 3? I missed it. If you guessed 3, you got it right. Seinfeld was the Onion story. Seinfeld was the fake story. But I picked 2 that could have been from the Onion. A $5 million gold toilet, that's a real thing. Fully functional toilet, mind you. I mean, it's not used as a toilet. It's an art exhibit in a palace. Can you imagine being so rich that you have a $5 million toilet that you just have out for show, to show people? So that was a real story. Britain's, what palace was that? Hold on, let me bring it back up. Blenheim Palace in Britain. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't really care. Some place with way too much money and way too many riches. The rich and the elite, like the Queen on TV in her diamond headdress telling the poor to live within their means. They have a gold, 18-karat gold toilet just out for show. Like, look at my $5 million toilet. Isn't that great? Steve says the Incas ate a lot of guinea pigs. That's something I found out. with the guinea pig ice cream. They eat guinea pigs in other countries. They're a delicacy. That's the way the article started out. Like, it act like I should have known that. It's like, well, everybody knows that guinea pig is a common delicacy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? A hot plate? That's what they said, but now it's a dessert too. So if you like guinea pigs, if you're a fan of guinea pigs, and you can now have the guinea pigs for dessert as well as a guinea pig steak or whatever. However you eat a guinea pig, who the hell would eat a guinea pig? Come on, you got to draw the line somewhere. I don't think I would eat guinea pig if I was starving. I don't think I would ever eat a guinea pig. But Lori says I actually read about 1 and 2, so I knew it was 3. Cheater. Plus name a show Seinfeld and kill him in 10 minutes in. You know what though? It's not that crazy when you actually think about Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, the creators of Seinfeld. That kind of be genius. And then you could always show flashbacks of Jerry. You could still have Jerry, you know what I mean? But it would be about how these 3 friends knew this comedian who was coming up and almost made it. And their bond is how they're telling their stories of Jerry. You could do it. So that's why I picked it, because I was like, that's believable. Because Larry David would do some crazy shit like that. A show about nothing. Steve says, I've seen every Seinfeld. Did you know that there is a Superman in every episode of Seinfeld? You can find a Superman, whether it be a figure or a magnet, or Superman is somewhere in every episode of Seinfeld. There's a lot of other interesting things about Seinfeld. There's a real life Kramer. Kramer's a real person. You know, Jerry and Larry got an apartment together, and that's what they made Seinfeld based around. Kramer was actually their across the hall neighbor. Michael Richards didn't base his character on the real Kramer, though. He never wanted to meet him. His is a completely made up character, but there was a real Kramer, and that real Kramer does bus tours of Seinfeld bus tours in New York to this day, probably, and takes you around to all the actual locations, like the real diner they would hang out at and all that stuff. That's supposed to be really cool. Lori says, but Seinfeld was the star. Yeah, I know. But interesting, crazy little idea, and I wouldn't put it past Larry or Jerry. You know, Jerry was reluctant to get into TV, even though he really wanted it. He was not an actor. So I think that would have been attractive to look at the show as, oh, I only have to do little pieces. I only have to do maybe my stand-up or memory bits. It made sense to me. So she says no way he would get himself killed off. Yeah, but it could have been cool. Think about it. Think about a show about an up-and-coming comic that was going to be famous and dies. Like a real-life sitcom version of what happened to Bill Hicks. Earlier in the show, I said we was going to talk about my heroes named Bill. I have 2 heroes named Bill. One of them is Bill Hicks. Some of you that watch these shows know that the other thing that I do on the side, my other side hustle, is I'm a stand-up comedian. I do stand-up comedy, and I've always loved Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks was brought down in his prime by pancreatic cancer. He was just about to rise to fame. So to me, in my mind, when I was imagining the Onion story being real, I was like, so Seinfeld dies, and he was about to break like Bill was. Bill was on the cover of Rolling Stone. He was big over in Europe. He was breaking through in the United States. He would have been big, like Sam Kinison big. He never did achieve that here, and it's sad. But because he died so young. I mean, he died in his late 30s. He was taken from us way too early, but he's a comedic genius. And my hero, Bill Hicks. And my other hero named Bill is William Cooper. Bill Cooper. He hosted a radio show that he put out himself, which is where I may end up one day. So I may end up out in my shed with a big, ham radio setup and put out a show myself, a truth show. That may be where we end up. Because people are giving me advice on how to not get banned from platforms, but I just keep getting banned. So if I end up banned, I'll end up out in my shed with a radio doing a show like William Cooper, The Hour of the Time. Look that up. You want to hear about truth, and from a person that is a really good voice for the truth movement, that it was also taken from us way before his time, William Cooper. William Cooper was killed in 2001. And I believe he was killed because he was in the process of exposing how Osama bin Laden was not behind the events of 9/11. Osama bin Laden had nothing to do with 9/11. And William was exposing that on his radio show. And his radio show actually had a large listenership. It got out to a lot of people. And through different means in different ways. I'd have to figure out how to do it, but he did it. And he was the first Alex Jones. He was Alex Jones before there was an Alex Jones, and he was legit. Alex Jones is controlled opposition, I believe. I believe Alex Jones is a ranting loon and controlled opposition. But Will Cooper was the real thing. And that's my hero in the truth movement. So in the truth movement, I look up to Bill Cooper, and in comedy, I look up to Bill Hicks. But those are my heroes named Bill. I just thought that would be cool to get into heroes sometime and talk about who you look up to. But at the same time, they're just real people. So, they say don't ever meet your heroes because they'll let you down. But I think they only let you down if you allow them to. If you've built up some kind of ideal in your head that they are somehow more than human. I feel like if I ever met Bernie Sanders or Bill Hicks, if I could meet Bill Hicks, or if I ever met William Cooper, if I could, or sat down to dinner with any of these people, I believe that, it would be a lot more natural. I don't remember where I was going, but because I saw Steve's comment, and Steve says that Hicks never died. He became Alex Jones, and that conspiracy theory drives me crazy. That is a real conspiracy theory. You can look into it. And I'm going to give you some credit here, Steve. It's very plausible. Makes a lot of sense. Very Andy Kaufman-esque. I can see it from all kinds of angles. They look a little bit alike. They kind of sound a little bit alike when there's audio of Bill doing a character that kind of sounds like Alex Jones. But the thing is, this is the deal breaker for me. Alex Jones isn't funny. Now, Bill Hicks could be that undercover. He could be that good at selling the character that he has decided to not be funny for the last half of his life. But Bill Hicks was a comic genius. So I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt that all of a sudden Bill Hicks decided, all right, I'm done telling jokes. I'm done being funny. I have put out all the comedy I want to. What I want to do for the rest of my life is huck garbage for the government and be a disinformation agent for the CIA. And that's the other reason why I don't want to believe that he is. Because I'm like, Bill, come on, my hero, Bill Hicks, who was all about opening up your mind and helping the humans understand our true potential and how, everything else is a lie and all we really need is love and each other. It was all about all of that and truth and light. Why would he become Alex Jones? I know Steve believes in the theory. So why do you think Bill, with all his beliefs, the way he felt about everything, and his agenda in life to spread love and light and truth, why would he become a disinformation agent for the CIA? Because I agree with you that Alex Jones is not a person, it's a CIA psyop. I agree with that. I do. 100%. But why would Bill do that? What would Bill's motive be? Is his life being threatened? Because why would he completely betray all of his values? To troll us? I don't know, man. I'm a hard time with that one. Even though there are the little similarities that they look alike or around the same height, had some of the same friends, were from the same management company, from the same area. A lot of things. And then Alex is looks older than he says he is. But the way he looks, he would match up to how old Bill should be. There's a lot to it. But that could be from, being a smoker. That could be from a lot of different things. Different things make you age differently. It doesn't necessarily have to be that he's Bill Hicks in disguise, but he is misinformation. Alex Jones and InfoWars itself is a psyop. I firmly believe that. Steve says the money, but Bill was into opening your mind up. Bill was into hallucinogens and the power of drugs to open up your mind and how we don't experience even reality fully, and that we need to love and to turn off your TV. And he spread the truth. He talked about the beast system. He betrayed all of that for money and fame. I guess it wouldn't be the first time, right? Probably wouldn't be the last time. These celebrities, they do sell their souls. That is real. They talk about it. You can look up a video of Bob Dylan talking about selling his soul. He even tells you, because the guy asked him, "What did you sell your soul to?" And he's like, "Well, who'd you think? Who do you think I sold it to?" I'm just getting a lot of notifications that people are coming in. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't say hi to you. It looks like Brian, Kyle, Nick, Clinton. Hey, what's up, Clinton? Roger. A couple people have been through. But thanks for coming. This is Yankey Show. We've been going for about an hour. And that's how long we usually do. But there's a lot of people here, and I got to catch up on the comments. So we're going to go a little while longer if you're just arriving. This is, at this point, it's anything you want it to be. I'm going off the comments 100% now. So we'll go until the comments die down because I want to make sure that I get to what you guys want to talk about. But let's see what Facebook has been talking about. Lori says, I don't know about Hicks. Oh, you don't know Hicks, or you don't know about the Alex Jones being Bill Hicks? If you don't know if you don't know Bill, and check out his comedy, and no matter if he's Alex Jones or not, you will be pleasantly surprised with Bill's comedy. Bill was a truth comic, and he dropped a lot of truth in his comedy, and those are the best kind of comics. Carlin was like that, and they can get you to drop your guard, and when you drop your guard, you're more susceptible to information. You know, when you're laughing, your guard's down, and you can get truth in easier. Because your mind defends itself when you're being challenged, when your beliefs are being challenged. Steve says there was a previous Alex. So who is Alex really? There was a previous Alex. That's true. And in the video I saw, they explained that away by saying that Alex, like, they just had the same name, but they had the same kind of show. I mean, it was basically the same person. There's a documentary on Bill Hicks being Alex Jones, and I watched it. Like I said, I always will give things a fair shake. Even with Bill being my hero, I entertained it. You know, someone asked me, why am I going to interview a flat earth guy coming up for the Conspiracy Theories and Chill show? Well, why not? Why can't we talk about flat earth? You know, we can have fun and talk about stuff. I'm going to do Bigfoot coming up too on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. But we'll also do serious stuff. Next week's episode is on MK Ultra. It's a conspiracy theory show. We can talk about any conspiracy. I don't have to agree with it. One day we can even go in and I'll do a video on Alex Jones being Bill Hicks. Maybe I'll prove it to myself. So I always look at it from both sides. Oh, don't know Bill Hicks? Look him up, Lori. I'm going to send you some clips of Bill Hicks stand-up. Do yourself a favor and look up Bill's stand-up. Please. Steve says posting to a bunch of groups I never asked to join. That's how I always thought of it when I shared. I was like, I didn't ask to be in this group. So if you don't like what I'm sharing to you, kick me out. And that's the way I've always felt about it. I didn't ask to join most of the groups that I'm in on Facebook. I never asked to be in them. So if I share something to you that you don't like, I don't like it when they complain to me. Because I'm like, kick me out of your group because I never asked to be here. You know, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Whether I made it a whole hour. The timer just clicked down to 60 minutes. I'm going to light this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to quit smoking because I need to quit smoking on the air. It looks really unprofessional and it's a bad habit and it's very unattractive and everything about it sucks. But I'm addicted to these things. I'm up to 2 packs a day now. I am very addicted to these things because I've been smoking a lot more doing the shows and doing the research. I tend to just chain smoke. I'll pop another cigarette in my mouth without even noticing it. Next thing I know, I'm halfway through a pack. It's ridiculous. But I try really hard not to smoke on live streams, and I apologize that I broke down and I'm doing it. But let's see. Lori says I made the flat earth guy so mad last year when you had him on. Oh, Tyler? This one is this one is a more of an expert on just flat earth. Tyler is into a little bit of everything. Tyler is more of an expert on Tartaria. I did an interview with Tyler on Tartaria. That was really interesting. That's up on the YouTube channel. Check that out. That was a really good discussion. But he's more into that right now. He's an independent researcher, and that's where his focus is. It used to be on flat earth, but the one I'm going to have on, he's more of a vocal proponent of flat earth currently and more of an expert. So that'll be fun. And Ginger says, I need to quit also. Shrinks my enlarged veins. Woohoo, so there's that. It's terrible. The fact that this is legal to the point where I can go down and buy it 3 houses down from me right now. In walking distance, there's a whole wall of nicotine, and I can pick whatever flavor I want, any brand. That's disgusting because this is killing people. What, 400 something thousand people a year die from nicotine or cigarettes, smoking, tobacco use, or I don't know if that's right or not, but I know it's a very large number. And then 5 or 6 die from vaping accidents, and they want to immediately ban vaping. Follow the money. They're not worried about people dying. They're worried about losing that profit. Lori says, yay, a whole hour. Celebrate. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to feel good about it, because I was feeling guilty. But it looks like I'm all caught up on YouTube's comments. If you're here on YouTube, I'm going to check back in with you guys in just a second. So let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. Brenda says, new sub here. Don't want to be a lurker listening. Bill Hicks fan myself. Interesting subject. Oh, you're no lurker. All of my shows always will, and I always will be interactive and free. Everything that I do, I will put out for free. That's why we're all crowd-funded. I don't want sponsors. So there's links in the description for how to support the shows, because this all does cost money. It's expensive, and it does take a lot of work and effort to put these shows together. But you can support me by sharing, liking, subscribing. All of that's free too. And that helps tremendously. Getting me out to people is going to do the biggest favor for me right now, because I'm just growing an audience, and the more I do and the more reach I get on my stuff, that's going to be the best thing you could do for me. But there's other links for how to support the show, including becoming a Patreon. Patreon is a service where you subscribe to content providers that you like podcasters, etc., and you support them by donating so much per month and become a supporter. But that's something that you can do with the links in the description on Patreon, or there's a PayPal if you just want to send a virtual high five. But that's enough of my plugs for now. The next thing that we're going to do show-wise will be tomorrow's Daily Burn. So Monday morning at 9 a.m. will be the next time I'm on live for the Daily Burn. And then Wednesday night will be Conspiracy Theories and Chill, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. Every time I give you a time on this channel, it will be Central Time, because that's where I live. And it's just easier for me to do that. I know it's more popular to give Eastern Standard Time, but I live in Central, so it's just easier for me. So 9 p.m. Central on Wednesday, Conspiracy Theories and Chill will be on, and we're going to be going deep into MK Ultra. So come back for that, and that will be interesting. But this is Yankey Show. This is the show that we do on Sundays. This is for fun. Hopefully you had a good time and enjoyed yourself. But we just talk about a little bit of everything. So I'm going to check back in with comments, make sure we got caught up, and we will get around to wrapping up for the day. But Steve says Ginger smokes. Oh my God. I was surprised to hear that too, because she seems so together and with it. And I tend to be hard on myself, and so I have a low opinion of myself because I smoke. Matter of fact, I make myself smoke the cheapest brand of cigarettes there is, because why should I smoke nice cigarettes? I'm doing something stupid. Why should I get the premium version of stupid? I feel like if I'm going to do something dumb, then I'm going to pay a little price for doing that. I'm going to suffer through the bad taste. And the fact that they constantly put themselves out. But Elizabeth is here. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? She says autopsies are showing nanoparticles of black carbon in the lungs of smokers. Nanoparticles break the blood-brain barrier, and there is the addition now of glyphosate. Man, glyphosate. That don't sound good. I hate these words that just can't, they trip your tongue. You can't even pronounce them. They're in everything. Everything has these chemicals in. I probably pick up any piece of stuff around my desk and find a word I can't say. Take probably 2 seconds if I can find the ingredients on this thing. Well, if I was ready, I could do it. If I went and got a box of cereal, I could read some chemicals off to you that would blow your mind. Helen says, I smoke 2 packs a day, but they're cigars. 2 packs of cigars? Who are you, Tony Soprano? What do you think you're doing? Lori says, smokers are hard on themselves, which increases stress, hence more smoking. Vicious cycle. Yeah. Lori says this show and Conspiracy Theories and Chill are her faves, and Ginger says that she likes Yankee Rants the best. Yankee Rants is fun, and that's why I think I'm going to let that one... What do you think about that one staying kind of sporadic? Just when I'm mad about something or there's something to rant about. Just doing that one. Because some things need a regular day and time so that you know when to tune in, you know when to watch and when to pay attention. And some things should be more free form. So if I leave Yankee Rants free for him, when I'm mad about something, I can just get on and do a quick Yankee Rants. You know what I mean? Because within a year, I want to get to where I'm doing these shows professionally, like a Tim Black or a Jimmy Dore. So this will be my job inside a year if I get my way. So anything you want to see as far as content, let me know, because I'm always coming up with things you want to watch. Because if people aren't watching it, there ain't no point in doing it. Helen says, or Ginger says, Helen is Tony Soprano, new conspiracy theory. Yeah, that's what happened when it faded to black. Became Helen Ford. Started activism and truth movement on Facebook. Lori says, love Yankee Rants too. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are digging the shows that I've come up with to put out on here. I love doing it. And that's why I've decided that I want to do it for a living. So I'm going to do all I can to push forward and become a professional at it in some way. Whether that's doing radio or doing this, it will be in some form talking, in some form professionally. But Dot Connector says rants when you're mad is your favorite. Yeah. Oh my God. You want to see one where I'm real mad? Look at one of the early videos on the channel, the Philando Castile rant, the one where I break my front tooth. That one is off the chain. And like a pro, I keep going even after breaking a tooth. So you want to see a toothless guy rant on YouTube? I thought about taking some of those videos down. When I first started doing my YouTube channel, I was going through a lot of dental work. But I went ahead anyway and filmed it anyway and just kept going because I felt like the most important thing was what I was saying, and I've left them up. But now that I look back on them in hindsight, a lot of times I think maybe I should take them down, but I like them. Again, I still feel like it was most important what I was saying. But Lori says Jimmy Dore's best went on a rant. He is. And Steve says this is fun because we can goof on shit. Ginger says hi, Tim. Tim, what Tim is here? Ginger says Freeform is awesome. Be cool if it's Tim Black. Let me find out Tim Black's here. I'll fangirl for a second. Do. But no, the shows I really like doing, and I'm going to keep doing, and there will be more of them. Lori was saying, don't overwhelm myself. I will be careful to do that. I did overwhelm myself last time. I got a little too eager. I'm more focused this time. I got it all in a better mindset now. I think I really got a good handle on it and a good plan moving forward. So, and when I say I'm giving myself a year, it doesn't mean if I don't do it in a year, then I'm going to give up and cancel everything. I'll give myself another year. I like to make my goals a little unreachable, just so you got to really push to get to them. That way, if at a year I fail, I won't be that far away from it for the next year. You know what I'm saying? Tim Black is here? Nuh-uh. Tim Black isn't here. Tim Black's at one of my live feeds. I go to Tim Black's live feeds. That's the way this works, Tim. I go to your shows. Welcome. I can't see that you're here, Tim. Why can't I see that Tim's here? That is awesome. I'm fangirling a little bit. Some people say he's here, Steve. I don't see it. Tim's a real truther. Well, watch Conspiracy Theories and Trail, Tim, on Wednesday night. I'm going to expose MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a secret government program. Well, it's not secret anymore. It was exposed and declassified and put out for public knowledge. It's just you're not taught about it. Most people aren't even aware of it, what MK Ultra was. But this was a program where they drugged and tortured American citizens, real people, to try and create mind-controlled slaves that they could use for various tasks. And we're going to get into all of that, the things that they wanted to brainwash people to be able to do, the methods that they used for this brainwashing. They used a process called trauma-based mind control. And what trauma-based mind control is you break someone's mind, cause their personality to dissociate, and insert an alternate personality that you can control and get to do whatever you want. And that's what MK Ultra was for, and that was their purpose. And we're going to go into that Wednesday night on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, so that'll be really cool. Steve says Tim Black's an American hero. Is he really here? I'm going to have to check that out after. That's amazing to me. I've been studying you, Tim. If Tim's here, I've been studying you. I'm studying on you. I'm coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. We do two different things. I'm not coming for you, but I do learn from you. I watch your show. I learned a lot of stuff from you. What you're doing is great, and you are inspiring other people to get out there and do stuff in the movement. So know that. But Lori says MK Ultra has been around since what, the 1940s, 1950s. It's been around before that, okay? Because it didn't. They officially say it went on. I don't know the exact dates because I don't have it in front of me, but they say it went on between somewhere in the 50s and they stopped it in the 70s. Completely stopped it in the 80s. I don't think they ever stopped it, but that's what they admit to. Um, but it began under Hitler. It actually goes further back than that. This is going to be a really interesting episode. I did a precursor to it so that it wouldn't end up being 3 hours long. The other day, we did a special episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill and talked about what I'm about to tell you. Because Operation Paperclip was an operation where we brought over all the Nazi scientists and engineers and stuff that were working on all of Hitler's research. Well, trauma-based mind control was one of the main things that Hitler was working on. They brought those people over, and those exact same scientists continued their research, but now for us at the CIA into mind control. So yes, it does go back to the 40s and even beyond that. Trauma-based mind control has been practiced by the elites and royalty, and it's written about in all kinds of history, all the way back probably through recorded history, ever since they first understood that they could do that. Because you can, they say, the CIA, if you look at the official documents, the declassified documents, they claim that they were never. All right, I apologize, but I won't go on too much longer about MK Ultra because I want you to tune in Wednesday night at 9 for the new episode, and I will have a brand new video. The way these work, Conspiracy Theories and Chill works like this. I make a short mini documentary. I'm going to make about a 20-30 minute movie, little mini movie on MK Ultra, and then we're going to watch that, and then afterwards we're going to hang out and talk about the video and anything else you want. So bring your tinfoil hat and get ready to talk conspiracies. But Steve says MK Ultra, there's the guy who kept people on acid for 70 days straight. They drug people with acid, they use drugs, they use torture, they use all kinds of means. And we're going to get way into that Wednesday night. So if you're into that, tune in Wednesday night to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. And we're all going to come, all the Facebook feeds will come from my timeline from now on, guys. I've discovered through testing and doing streams since I tested it, the timeline works better than the page. The timeline works better than the page. It has pluses and minuses, but as far as getting out to people and getting viewers, the timeline works better. The pages are easier to suppress. And I think the reason for that is they want you to buy these boosts where you can pay 20 bucks and get out your post to 1,200 more people for just $20. 20 more people, 1,200 more people can see your post. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pay to boost my posts to get them out to a wider audience. So I think they're throttling my pages so that I will do that. Steve says, what the fuck, Sean? We're trying to do a show here. MK Ultra. We can do a show. We can keep going about MK Ultra. I just don't want to spoil Wednesday night. I'm 5 pages into the script. I've been doing a ton of research. I'd hate to ruin the video. I could tell you everything right now, but then you wouldn't tune in Wednesday night. Steve says, Or wait, Lori says he threatened O'Neill's life over the book. O'Neill, hold on. I listened on audiobook. Tim O'Neill just wrote a book exposing the real story after 20 years research. Chaos, Charles Manson, and the secret history of the 60s. I think there was a lot of people that were MK Ultra victims. As far as, let me just rattle off because I'm not going to go into this too deep in the video. But Lee Harvey Oswald, I believe, was MK Ultra. Sirhan, who killed JFK's brother, RFK, I believe he was MK Ultra. And I have reasons for all these. We can talk about that if you want. But like Timothy McVeigh, I believe he was MK Ultra. Some of these school shooters, sometimes, I believe, and then we'll go into celebrities for just a second. Like Kanye West, I believe is MK Ultra. And if you might ask yourself real quick, if you're not real familiar with it, Kanye West, why would they want Kanye West? Why would you want a musician? Why would you want a rapper? Why would you want anything like that? Well, They had different alters that they were trying to recreate. It's the CIA. So they wanted a little bit of everything. They had alters that could remember information, like were basically human computers that could just hold tons of information. Then they had alters that could be have no morals. They were called them seductresses. They had no moral limitations. They could do anything asked of them, and they didn't care. But then they also had, I forget what the word for it is, but they would have been what would be entertainers. Um, in the music industry, actors, all of that. They would put out so that they could have influence over media and over art. That's an express purpose. And that was one of the types of alters that they were trying to figure out how to create. And I believe they did. I believe they did figure all that out, and I believe they still do it to this day. And I think there's evidence to show that. And there's these things that happen. Another person that I think was MK Ultra, a famous assassin, is I'm going blank on his name right now, but the guy who shot John Lennon, Mark David Chapman. I think he was MK Ultra. But those are my opinion. I could tell you why if you want to go into it. We can get into that. But Steve says Lori is researching Manson. You might have her on as a guest. You're researching Charles Manson? I was fascinated with Charles Manson in high school. I took a special class. It was a voluntary elective class where they had a homicide detective taught it, a former homicide detective, Mr. Duff. If you're out there, Mr. Duff, I still talk about your class. But um, he had these letters. Charles Manson had corresponded with this college student. She was writing a paper on him, and he corresponded with her, and there was 6 letters back and forth, and he let me look at 3 of them. He wouldn't let me see the others because this college student ended up killing herself through this exchange of letters with Charles Manson. And he believed it was through what he was writing in these letters that he got into her mind. Apparently, he could do that. He could manipulate people. But he's fascinating. I would love to hear about Charles Manson. And if Lori's an expert on Charles Manson, that would be exciting if you would do an interview. And Lori says, I used to not believe MK Ultra. It took a lot of convincing. And Agenda 21, too, totally has been proven to me now. Yeah, like I said, it's common knowledge, but people don't know about it. It's suppressed. It's held back. They had to admit to it. It's declassified. But we're going to go into it. We're going to show it. I'm going to expose it. And like anything else I talk about, Google it. I always want you to double check what I tell you. Double check what anybody tells you. Like William Cooper, my hero in the truth movement, used to say, listen to everything, believe nothing. Take it in, but verify it for yourself. No matter who tells it to you. No matter if it's me or someone you trust even. Always check it out. And if Rachel Maddow tells you the sky is blue, go out and make sure for yourself, because she will lie to you about everything. If she told me it was blue and it looked blue to me, I might start to think that I might not know what blue is, because it can't be. Because Rachel Maddow said it's blue, and Rachel Maddow lies about everything. But Lori says yes on Chapman. She agrees on Chapman. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the patsies used throughout time and history. It's the MK Ultra episode is going to be really good. And I think it'll be real in depth, even doing that teaser episode to try and get some of it out there. I did an episode about Operation Paperclip, the operation where we brought over all the Nazi scientists, and then also covered Monarch and Montauk. Monarch and Montauk were sub-projects of MK Ultra. MK Ultra is a very complicated subject. I could really do a full 2-hour documentary on it. And one day I'm going to do something like that, a long form. I've never tackled it before, but I think it would be fun to do a long form documentary. I'm looking for a good topic, and this might be the one. Might be MK Ultra, but the video that's going to come up Wednesday night will be 20-30 minutes. That's what I'm shooting for. So what I can fit in 20-30 minutes, and then we'll hang out the rest of the show and get the rest of it out. And then maybe in the future we'll have a long form MK Ultra mini doc or doc that we'll put out on the YouTube channel. But there will be a lot more coming forward from YouTube and from Facebook and now from Periscope. We're on Periscope too. We're live streaming over on Twitter. So it's exciting going out to 3 places. Things are growing. Things are happening. We're getting a new computer built. A lot of things happening moving forward. But let me see if there's anything else. YouTube doesn't look like there's any new comments on YouTube. And Facebook, there's a few people still here. John Curacao, CIA waterboarding whistleblower friend on Facebook, speaks of it. Whoa. Sweet. Hook me up with that. I am not an expert on anything except my job. I claim expert there after 30 years. I think you're expert level. I think you're an expert level nurse after 30 years of experience. I would agree with that. But hey, Alex. Hey, Owen. And nice to see you guys come by. It's not showing me right when people are showing up, but I wanted to make sure I said hi when I saw your name, just so people know we are live and it's interactive. But thanks for coming tonight or today. It's not nighttime, it's daytime. Look at the sun, Sean. See that? Thanks for coming to Yankee Show today and hanging out. This is a new show. We've only been doing this about a month and a half. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see change on the show or stay the same, or maybe you liked it, maybe you loved it, maybe you hated it. Let me know either way. I want to hear either way. I can take it. So let me know what you thought of the show and let me know what kind of shows you want to see moving forward. Let me know what conspiracies you'd like to see me cover on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. But we'll see you for another episode of Yankee Show next Sunday at noon, and I'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Daily Burn at 9 a.m. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. And if you watch later on, thank you too. You guys are awesome too. Don't think because you're late you're any less cool. Matter of fact, if you're seeing me talk right now, you watched the whole video, so you are a champ. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next time. I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get